had an experiment with candles. And what I'm going to do here is just play a little clip to remind you what it looked like. So just bear with me for a moment while I bring it in here. And then we'll play a little clip so that you can see just a reminder of the experiment. So here we go. And we are going to cover the candle with the glass jar. So the glass jar goes in. And then I'm going to try and get down here a little bit, and we're going to see what happens. So you should be able to see something happening. You see our candle went out. You see it started to float, and you can see that the water level has risen by at least an inch, maybe even an inch and a half inside of this jar. So there we go. It worked out nice for us live. So we saw a few things. First, we saw the candle lit, and then we put the jar on top. Now, what that did is it cut off the oxygen supply to the candle, to the flame. They can't burn without oxygen. They need that fuel. So once we put that jar on top, that was pretty much game over for that flame. It used up the small amount of oxygen in the jar, and it went out. But there were two things happening during that time. First, when the jar first went on, it heated up the glass, it heated up the air inside. So that air expanded. When air heats up, it expands and pushes. So that created more pressure. Now, air likes to be evenly balanced. It likes to have equilibrium. So with more pressure inside the jar, it pushed outwards to start, to equal things out between the inside and outside of the jar. But very quickly, the flame went out. So the air in the jar started to cool down quickly, which means now instead of more pressure in the jar, there's less pressure in the jar compared to outside. So all of that air wants to equalize. So it pushes in from the outside. And when it does that, it pushes the water in as well. So that's why we saw the water rise after the flame was extinguished. So it's all about air pressure. And air pressure always wanting to have a nice balance, a nice equilibrium. So if air expands, other cooler air will rush in to fill that space. If air cools down and contracts, warmer air will rush in to fill that space.